Hola amigos, yo soy su nuevo presidente, el señor Donaldo J. Trump. Your ex-presidente, el señor Maduro, is no longer your presidente. He kept talking shit, and fucking around, and he ultimately found out, though. Anyway, we're going to make Venezuela grande again. Mucho grande. El bigger y el better than ever before. We're going to drill, baby drill. We're going to have a big, beautiful fiesta, all the tacos you want. Mucho mariachi, sexy mamacitas, and delicious margaritas. And President Trump is going to be el DJ, okay? Muchas gracias, muchachos.
I just these videos are unbelievable. I love AI. I love I love the internet. Holy smokes. This is just fantabulous. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the show. I'm Ace. I'm ready to take you guys on the journey. Breaking down the Venezuela stuff, the craziest beginning to a year in a while. My goodness. Why, man, Trump is just destroying the deep state. We are winning so hard, and if you can't see it, you might be blind, sir. I gotta say, if you blackpilling now, we'll just call you El Retardo. That is, I'm sorry. The more I look into this Venezuela stuff, man, it is good for the U.S. It is America first in the craziest ways. It is destroying the deep state, the globalists. They are freaking out. It's amazing. So if you guys are ready to go on that journey, we're going to go through that tonight. But first, before we get started, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. If you're on X, hit that repost. Please share it. I appreciate it. It's the only way the algo shares me. It doesn't like me very much, and that's all right. It is what it is. Sometimes they don't like the truth tellers. I don't get paid. I don't get those 7K Israeli checks. I don't get the Koch brothers checks. I definitely don't get the DNC checks. So, I ain't cashing those checks and they ain't promoting me, and that's all right. I'll just keep telling the truth as it is and as it makes people uncomfortable, and that's okay. So hit that like, hit that subscribe, share if you don't mind. Thank you so much. Guys, let's get started up in the chat. Let me say hey to some peeps up in here. Vince, numero uno tonight, buddy. What's going on, my friend? The one, what it do? CJ Yukon, what's up? Just Mike, hola, Big Swede. That is great, isn't it? Steve Bernard, what's going on? My favorite, even though the Trump stuff, the Trump one was hilarious. This Vance coming in with that, the Vance meme with the lasers. I mean, it's just, that's too funny. Just one more time. How about it? For those in the back. That does not get old. All right. You guys ready to get into it tonight? By the way, if you're new to the show, please feel free. Hit up the chat. Any comments are welcome. Any questions, I will do my best to answer them as per usual, unless you're on X where I can't see it. But I did post a YouTube link if you'd rather go there and jump over on YouTube so you can be a part of the chat. And, of course, on Rumble, everybody, you can hit that chat up as well. All right. Let's get into it, shall we, folks? So we all knew this, what Trump's doing is the Monroe Doctrine, but now he's just out saying it. Here he is.
It's about peace on earth.
How is it peace on earth?
Peace on earth. We gotta have peace. It's our hemisphere. The Monroe Doctrine was very important when it was done, and other presidents, a lot of them, they lost sight of it. I didn't lose sight, but it really is, it's peace on earth. Thank you very much.
How is this man Putin's puppet, just like the usual guys? I mean, at this point, if you're still calling Trump a Bushy, saying he's one of them, I mean, come on. You're not too bright, are you? Let's just be honest. The Monroe Doctrine, going back to James Monroe is all about controlling the Western Hemisphere for the good of the U.S. of A., the United States of America, making sure our enemies are out. We make sure we police this area as best as possible, have tight allyships with everybody, tight treaties, make sure that none of this stuff, the whole like oil plans with China and Russia and Iran and all like the biggest bads in the world were all on our side of the aisle, messing around with Venezuela, kissing up with Venezuela. And there's so much more going on here than just this. But the Monroe Doctrine is very important. You can say this is Trump communicating to everybody to say we are going back to basics. Tariffs was taking us back 130 years ago. Okay, the Monroe Doctrine taking us back even further than that. Trump, everything he does keeps taking us back further in history than we have. Let's just be honest, none of us ever thought we'd see. In fact, most of us didn't even know about this stuff. Most people don't know about this. For one thing, you get a terrible education in America's schools. That's not your fault. It is what it is. But secondly, how often do you think about any of this? Nobody spends all this time thinking about, oh man, I wish America would just go back to 1837, you know? I mean, a few people do, but we just don't think about that. We got used to our system as it is Keynesian economics, which is this debt-based system that's not tied to gold or anything. Our dollar's out of control, and just what that looks like. We got used to inflation just purring along at 2% a year, like that's okay. But we got used to it and we accepted it. We accepted all this nonsense. We accepted that free trade might be a good idea. We let the libertarians and the globalists convince us of that. We just, time after time after time, we just allowed ourselves to be the frogs in the boiling water, allowing ourselves to think that this is fine. You know, it's a little toasty in here, but this is just what it's like, right? This is the world. This is America. This is how we do things. Never once thought to think how different it really was. I mean, some things we did, you know, we might be like some of the constitutional stuff is like, that's kind of obvious because that's still relevant. And we talk about it all the time if we're following politics at all. So some of that stuff, but we never stopped to think, what did it look like before? How did we handle things militarily? How did we handle things economically? That just was stuff. I mean, listen, I've been doing this, studying this stuff for 25 years. Actually, a little longer at this point now, 25 plus years. And these are just conversations that you just didn't really have very much. They certainly weren't on our radar as a normal thing. We just didn't think it would happen. The typical, you know, discussions were, should we stop spending less? What about the debt? You know, how do we open up more free trade avenues? Shut down the border? How do we preserve gun rights? It was just the normal stuff. And then Trump comes along. And by the way, that's what they wanted us focused on, because that's the kind of stuff that just keeps going circular all the time. But no, meanwhile, the systems that actually matter the most were just being eroded around us. And so we ended up in the absolute mess we were in. The commies got in, the commies infiltrated, and they played it the long game, and it was a lot smarter than what we all were doing. And that's, you know, it's to be expected. We're supposed to be able to trust that our government does the job we vote them in for, that our Constitution would save us. That's what we're supposed to be able to do. But guess what? Supposed to be and reality are very, very far apart, as it turns out. And that's what Trump has woken us up to. And he's taken us back to the 1800s, when America, from its founding, from the inception of the Constitution in 1789 and George Washington coming in, all the way until 1913, was a completely different economic system than we know now, and a completely different military system of how we thought about the world. Woodrow Wilson, one of the worst men to ever live, our president at the time of the income tax, at the time of the Fed, and at the time of global wars. He started it all, folks. He got us into World War I. He's the one who started the Fed system. He's the one who made it so that it's okay to just have your money stolen from you before you even choose to spend it. All Woodrow Wilson, and it's all been a fight back and forth, but more of them taking ground than not since then until Trump. That's crazy. That's 113 years. Nearly half of our existence as a country now that we're hitting 250. Happy 250, by the way. That's a little early, July 4th, but still, it feels good to be on that 250 year, you know. Anyways, Trump's taking us back. And so Monroe Doctrine, it becomes about sovereignty again. You know what the Monroe Doctrine also says? We don't care about you, Europe. We don't care about you, China. Stay out of our side of the world. We're not doing this anymore. The globalists based in the EU, that is, Europe is the true base of the one world government that we're actually eroding. We're not becoming a part of. And why is Venezuela such a big deal in this? Well, let's look at some of the some of the consequences of what this Venezuela thing does first. Let's look at some of the actual data and immediate things that are happening because of capturing Maduro and taking over Venezuela. Well, the U.S. captured the most notable foreign leader since Saddam Hussein in 2003. That is a big flipping deal. The leader's country, Venezuela, is an OPEC member with the world's largest oil reserves. And as soon as we get in there, oil and gas prices are falling sharply. In fact, natural gas prices down 6%. Since futures oil prices are back below 57 a barrel and they're in their lowest level since 2021. What did I tell you guys? I said 2026, the economic boom year. And you know what makes me feel even better about that prediction than I felt a week ago? Us going into Venezuela. Because now the oil is a-flowing. And don't get me wrong, Venezuela's oil is not the kind of oil we can take and refine into gasoline. It's sticky and gross and thick. It's just not the best oil. And so that's why it doesn't make sense for us to just go in there for the oil. And that's one of the many reasons why the people are saying, like, we went in there just for the oil, are, you know, they're not too bright. And we deal with a lot of not too bright people these days. And that's unfortunate because by now you should know better. These are people who are reading and, well, you think they are. They're learning online, but no, they're really not. They're either paid bots or they're the dummies who buy the narratives. And that's unfortunate because the narratives they keep coming, but we've had 9 years of Trump now, near 10, actually 10, because now we've hit into 2016. It's been 10 years, 10 years of Trump. By now we should understand what he's doing. We should understand him better. And that's why I do this show, because I have been paying attention and I want to help break through that stuff. What's up, Ryan Edberg? He's in. Vince says feminism, never about women's rights, destroying the family. That's right. You're absolutely right. I wasn't going to talk about that tonight, but Vince, you're right. So, but look at this though. So economically, inflation, Trueflation just put out a number the other day that inflation has fallen to 1.83%. That, my friends, is wonderful, but we want more. You know what we want? We want deflation. Deflation is what's good for American people. It might not be good for the people in debt who, you know, trying to buy themselves out of their debt. And that's how the entire Wall Street and all the big boys use their wealth. They leverage it all with debt. So they love inflation because inflation makes their debt cheaper and cheaper. It gets easier and easier to pay it off over time. They love debt. But unfortunately, the middle class and the poorer classes, debt is terrible for us. It just is. We can leverage it in the right situations, but overall, it actually puts us into slavery. And debt in general just shouldn't be good. It has become good or leverageable because of low interest rates and because of inflation. But for the first 120 plus years of our country, deflation was the norm. The reason deflation was the norm is because the dollar was strong. It was tied to gold. And I mean, I know people could pickle with me. Not every moment was it perfect, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. In general, it was tied to gold. The dollar was strong. And what happens when you have a strong dollar, when you actually have a currency backed by something, what happens is that innovation should continually make goods and services cheaper. Goods and services get cheaper. It gets cheaper to pull oil out of the ground, which is energy. You get everything cheaper over time. And for the first 120 years of our nation, we averaged about 0.5% deflation a year. So do the math over 120 years, everything was getting cheaper and easier to buy better. We were headed in the right direction. Inflation is the slow killer. And that's why they went at 2%, because you don't really feel it until it's built up over time. It's the frogs in boiling water. Inflation is evil. So we want to get it to the point where we start deflating again. That's going to take time because our system's not built for it. But so trueflation, 1.83%, lowest inflation in quite some time. And it's going to get lower because now we have the illegals leaving. Rents are falling. Just look at what's going on in Austin, Texas right now. Rents are collapsing. Housing prices will be soon to follow. We have energy getting cheaper. And when energy gets cheaper, it's not long until food gets cheaper. This is going to be a very good year. By the end of the year, Americans should be feeling much better about their personal economic situations in general, because money's coming, tax returns are going to be the highest ever. And now we got the energy not just going low as it already was doing, but now it's plummeting thanks to Venezuela. And we have no idea how low it could go. Now, the Venezuelan oil, it's not turning into our gasoline, but what it is doing is it can be refined. It's going to be sold to other countries that will use it more, say China, say Iran, Russia, all these places that were using Venezuela, and then many other countries that, because the one area that's Venezuelan oil can really be used is for shipping. It's huge for shipping. So we flood it because at the moment, Venezuela was only exporting about 28% of its capacity. 28% versus about 10, 15 years ago, it was near 100% of what they could do. So that's going to flood the markets. Oil is going to be everywhere, and that naturally will affect the price of oil per barrel, which will then down the pipeline affect our gasoline. Even though it's not a direct effect, it will have that effect. And we're seeing it right now going down in just about all major escalations of geopolitical tensions with oil producing countries. Energy prices typically rise. Why is it different this time? Because the U.S. taking control of Venezuela is set to bring more oil and natural gas supply to the market. Natural gas, that's going to be wonderful. You guys ready to pay less for heat? I know I am. Market knows this weekend's events will ultimately result in the opposite of a supply disruption. The market is never wrong, and you just see futures for natural gas going, boo. I love that site. You guys ready? I'm actually starting to see this already. I went to do my shopping for the family this weekend, and I have 6 kids, so it's a haul, bro. I went to Aldi. And love Aldi. Aldi's always saving me tons of prices. And I noticed that about 60% of the items I usually grab were from 5 to 10% cheaper than they've been lately. 5 to 10% on about 60% of the items. That was wild. And trust me, I know this money. I know my grocery money. I have a budget. Okay, I follow this thing. It felt really good, because it was the first time in years where I actually was starting to notice it almost across the board. The one thing I'm really waiting on is for beef to go down, but I know the Trump administration is handling that. But here's the deal, guys. Trump said he's going to bring down prices. It's happening. I just paid $2.29 for gas. My food prices are 5% cheaper in many areas. It's happening. I notice all of it. Again, I have a big family. This stuff matters to me. So Trump's doing that. He got inflation down. The tariffs are the miracle he said they would be. You know who was wrong? Everyone else. Libertarians, economic idiots. We are at the point now where we can say that libertarians are economically moronic. They don't have two craps. They don't know anything what they're talking about. And I used to trust a lot of these people. No longer. Libertarians are dummies. I don't have to tell you that the Democrats on the left are dummies because they're all socialists and that never works. Not even close. That just, if you like starving millions and hundreds of millions of people, socialism and communism work, but that's the only way that goes. And then the neocon conservative types. I hate to say it because I used to be one of them, the Tea Party types. Because what Trump's showing us is that there are ways to do all of this without cutting the spending like crazy. Now we are cutting spending. We're cutting it through fraud and corruption. We're not just lopping off massive parts of our budget. He's doing it the better way, where the spending we're doing actually makes sense. Instead of just going to it and slicing off 10% here, 10% there. All of this is happening at the same time. It's incredible. We were all told it couldn't happen. We were all told it wouldn't happen. We were all told that we needed to keep selling out the middle class through free trade. And yet Trump is bringing the economic miracle he said, and Venezuela is just upping that up. And it gets better, folks. Look at this. If my mouse would work. I need a new mouse so bad. I've been so lazy about this. Sorry, guys. It really messes with the show sometimes. While everyone's focused on oil, Venezuela currently holds 161 metric tons of gold reserves. So we have 303 billion, barrels worth of reserves for oil, which is equivalent of $17 trillion at market price. 161 metric tons of gold, roughly 5.18 million ounces, worth $22 billion at 4,300 an ounce. Venezuela, the Latin America country, the largest gold holdings. Every 100 gold rises, these holdings gain 518 million of value. Now, I don't think the U.S. is going to take these, but are there deals that are going to be made? There's also a whole lot of raw earth materials there. Are we going to have access to that? Now it's the same hemisphere now. This is what we want. Monroe Doctrine, right? Make these closer ties. Do you understand? I talked about this months ago, about when Trump met with Putin, how much a Russia-U.S. connection, especially an alliance, a trade alliance, how much that would benefit both parties. It would bring great wealth into the U.S. Well, what we weren't thinking about at that time was what would happen if Venezuela suddenly becomes one of our greatest partners, our greatest allies. What if they opened up their wealth to trade? That, my friends, is an incredible thought. And just with the oil alone, if we're a part of getting it out there and we have a big cut of that, what if a lot of that could go to paying down the debt? This is where I once told you guys, everybody worried about the debt so much. Scott Bessent was talking about the debt last year. We're at $38 trillion, which is insane. But you get $38 trillion, which feels impossible. But when Bessent was talking about it, he said it was a problem, but he's not as worried about as others because our assets are more than that. Now, that's how wealthy people think. Poor people see that $10,000 car note and they're overwhelmed by it. And they just put their heads down and pay their minimum payment and just hope to God they don't miss one in 6 years and then it's gone. Rich people, wealthy people, they look at their assets and they say, as long as I have more assets than debt, I'm good because I always can leverage that. I always can pay it off if need be in a pinch. I'm not worried about it. So when Scott Bessent said the U.S. has more assets than debt, he was thinking like a wealthy person saying, the debt, yeah, it's a big deal, but it's not what you think it is. And that's what we're finding is all these assets keep coming on the board through all this craziness. So this is incredible stuff. And it makes you, we're in the process of needing to rethink everything we thought we knew economically, because we were all raised basically under Keynesian economics, where the only alternative we were taught was Austrian economics, which is what the libertarians love. And we're finding there's actually a better way than both. Dustin asks, how are we going to run Venezuela without boots on the ground, turning into a 20-year Iraq situation? Well, that's an excellent question, Dustin. I'll tell you this. A, I don't need to have the answer to that question. B, Trump obviously has a plan. We woke up with our boats surrounding Venezuela for the last few months, choking them off. And then within hours, we found out that Maduro was expedited out and we had basically taken full control over Venezuela within hours. So I don't think the equivalency to Iraq is honestly, and this is not a knock on you because I think you're just hearing what everybody else is saying. It's honestly not an intelligent one-to-one, because Iraq was an entirely different animal in many ways. We had to lie to get ourselves into it. They built that up to try to get in. And if we're learning anything, it's that since Vietnam, and maybe even a little bit further back, we have not been fighting wars to win them until Trump. What Trump did and what our military has done in these last couple skirmishes, Iran and now Venezuela, is so brilliant. And it showed so much our capacity to do in these incredible, seemingly impossible things just like that. And it's done. And so I think the real question to ask is, how is Trump doing this? And how is this going to be different than Iraq? We don't even have to, I take that back. Sorry, rewind that. Don't even bring up Iraq, because Trump's not Bush. Trump's not Obama. And we don't have it, from everything we've seen, it's not military occupancy there. We don't even know if we have boots on the ground. What if we're just taking them over from afar because they know we have the lasers pointed at all their heads and can pull the trigger at any second? I don't know how Trump's pulling it off. And frankly, I don't really care, because A, I trust the man, and B, he's already shown that everything he says happens or is in the process of happening. We have 10 years of this record now. So we can play the Iraq game, but that's a waste of my time. I'm not going to go there. If in 5 years we're in Venezuela and we're stuck, then we'll compare it to Iraq. But that's not going to happen. It's already not the same thing. Another thing, I talked about this the other day. Iraq was a country, or is a country, of tribalist Islamists who believe in caliphate. And they all hate how they all look at it. So Iraq immediately became civil war. Venezuela is full of a bunch of people who were democratic. They elected democratically communists. They got taken over. They tried to get out of it and they couldn't. Much different. Westernized, mostly probably Catholic. I don't actually know Venezuela's religion, but that's a big difference. We're talking about completely different people. So Iraq and Venezuela are not the same. Not even close. Robert Kaki says, we're currently developing a 1 milliwatt generator that runs on national gas to compete with diesel generators. 1/3 the size, 1/5 the weight. Oh my God, that would change everything. That's crazy. David asks, what's Austrian economics? Austrian economics are basically the what libertarians believe, or hardcore budget kind of conservative fiscal hawks. It's like account for every dollar, free trade, just like the hardest core capitalist, but tight. Like Austrians believe in austerity big time, like big cuts always. Don't go into debt, that kind of stuff. What's up, Toyota? How you doing? All right, let's keep moving on. Here's Rubio. Let's let Rubio break this down a little bit about the Western Hemisphere and their doctrine on this. I think this is important to understand.
States need to take over the Venezuelan oil industry.
Well, we don't need to. First of all, let me go back up. We don't need Venezuela's oil. We have plenty of oil in the United States. What we're not going to allow is for the oil industry in Venezuela to be controlled by adversaries of the United States. You have to understand, why does China need their oil? Why does Russia need their oil? Why does Iran need their oil? They're not even in this continent. This is the Western Hemisphere. This is where we live. And we're not going to allow the Western Hemisphere to be a base of operation for adversaries, competitors, and rivals of the United States.
Have specific oil companies?
We also want to see that oil and the proceeds from it. Hold on. We want to see the oil proceeds of that country benefit the people of Venezuela. Why have 8 million people left Venezuela? 8 million, the single largest mass migration probably in modern history, left Venezuela since 2014 because all the wealth of that country was stolen to the benefit of Maduro and his cronies in the regime, but not to the benefit of people of Venezuela. You know how destabilizing 8 million migrants is? The number one fear that Brazil has, that Colombia has, that all these countries in the region have about what's happening in Venezuela and our involvement is they're afraid of another mass migration event. That's what they fear. This is deeply destabilizing stuff. It's not going to continue to happen. They are not going to come from outside of our hemisphere, destabilize our region in our own backyard, and us have to pay the price for it. Not under President Trump.
Let's talk big picture.
So did you guys hear what Rubio just said? He just told us the whole deal here. The real thing we're doing is we are cutting off our enemies. The one thing he didn't say is the EU, which is the globalists, the financial banking system, the bad guys behind the scenes, the dark and scary guys twisting their mustaches out of City of London. He doesn't mention those. You can't mention those. We can't go there yet. But China, Russia, Iran, those are the big bads you can always talk about. Now, obviously, Russia is an interesting one because I think we're headed into the direction of allying with Russia as soon as Russia is over. I think we're heading in that direction. China wants to take over the world. They're not doing it militarily, and they're not ever going to do it militarily. They know they can't, and everybody who actually breaks this down understands they can't. But what they were doing is they were creating connections to everywhere. Mining in Africa, oil in Venezuela, oil in the Middle East. China was getting its dirty little grubby hands in all of these places, and by proxy, slowly emigrating into the entire world. And what Trump just did is he completely cut that off. He also is choking out the Iranian regime, which is a beautiful thing. Iran is one of the great dictatorships in the world. Completely powerful. The people hate their own leadership there. What's going to happen in Iran? I don't know. But they're definitely building up pressure on Iran. And this is one of those major blows to them. But also the EU. You know what this does? This is going to... The deep state operate out of Venezuela. Big time. CIA, which interestingly enough, I don't have the picture right now. When Trump was running the operation to get Maduro, do you know who was sitting right next to him in the picture? Radcliffe. Radcliffe is Trump's head of CIA. Radcliffe, there were some people wondering if he was a rat. He's sitting right next to Trump as they just took out the CIA's hold in Venezuela. The narco traffickers, terrorists, that's all CIA helped create all that. And what that signaled is that the CIA is being reformed. We are changing it. We are getting the rats out. Trump's sitting with the CIA director as they get Maduro out, meaning he was part of planning all this. All this stuff we thought we couldn't live with anymore had to be completely cut off. The FBI, the CIA. Trump seems to keep signaling to us that they're successfully changing them back. And there's a lot of people saying this can't happen. The psyops are increasing more every day. And yet we just keep doing stuff. We just keep doing these incredible operations. Whether you agree with it or not, whether it worries you or not, no one, and I mean no one, can deny that it is incredible how we pulled this off. It's incredible how we pulled the Iran strike off. We didn't do this stuff before. Not under Biden, not under Obama, not under Bush. We didn't do this. We didn't have these incredible military moments in this way where there was no casualties, especially non-American, no boots on the ground, and we're getting massive successes. This wasn't happening. Trump, this administration is showing us that this stuff can happen, and they're all working together on it, and they're all doing it from the places that we thought were so corrupted they could never be fixed. What if they're actually doing a better job than we think, or things are even moving faster than we thought? All this fear that 2025 was proving to us that the Trump administration actually couldn't get it done, or they were going back on their promises. To me, this Venezuela thing just blew all that away. It just showed that no, we can just get it done. This is crazy, and everything going around this is really, really important to pay attention to. Hey, Mike Sabzinski, $5 donation. Thank you, sir. Happy New Year. May Jesus our Lord walk with us. Amen, brother. Absolutely, amen. Thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate that. Happy New Year to you. Brett says, funny, China wants to take over the world. I heard the same thing from Gavin Newsom. Oh, man. Don't bring Gavin into this. That's not fun. Wonder who Hunter and Cory Booker buy their cocaine from? Well, probably not Colombia, because Trump's hinted that they might be next. Vince says, not even close. Thoughts on when China moves on Taiwan? Well, it's probably not going to happen now. See, China just got weakened by this, significantly weakened. By the way, if you didn't know this, the day before we got Maduro, the Chinese were there. They sent a diplomatic team there to meet with Maduro and the leaders there. Who knows what they were talking about? And the night they all go to bed, Maduro's taken away from them with the Chinese there. One of only two things it has to be that either Trump and the Chinese worked something out. Basically, Trump said, we're going to let you guys out of something if you stay out of our way while we do this, or even help us do this. Or it was a shot across the bow. Trump saying, like, you mother effers, stay out of our land, stay out of our side of the world. We're cutting off your oil. And guess what? Now we're going to be selling it to you. How about them apples? Yeah, that's the only things that make sense about the timing. And one way or the other, I mean, this just took away one of China's big connections. And so you think they're going to even think about moving on Taiwan right now? Forget about it. It's not happening. Robert says, back to the natural gas thing, 1/10 the cost is what it could be getting rid of the diesel and natural gas conversion. That's incredible, Robert. I'd love to hear more about that. Thank you so much. Oh man, don't worry about your spelling, Mike. God bless you. Thank you so much. You're incredible, and you never have to worry about that. I have people who full abilities who spell even worse. Yeah, Johnny says Trump was saying stay out. That's absolutely true. Housekeeping alert from Brett says please hit that like and that subscribe. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. Like, subscribe, follow if you're on X, repost, all that fun stuff. Thank you so much. If you're enjoying the show, if you're learning something, please hit that right there. Okay, let's go a little bit deeper. why we're doing this and why this is just such a massive hit to the deep state. Venezuelan military intelligence whistleblower confirms CIA outsources election rigging technology like Smartmatic from Venezuela. Do you know the first person who reported on this? Anybody want to take a guess? 20 years ago, Lou freaking Dobbs talked about Smartmatic machines, election machines in Venezuela. Yeah, this ain't some conspiracy theory. This has been known for 20 plus years. You don't think this is a big reason why we're in there? Trump saying, stop effing with our elections? Yeah, I would say that's a part of it. This is a lot more about more than narco trafficking. It's not about oil or Israel, contrary to what you see about online clickbait doomer slop. Yeah, clickbait doomer slop. Here's the whistleblower. My name is Hugo Carvajal Barrios. For many years, I was a high-ranking member of the Venezuelan regime. I was 3-star general, trusted by Chavez and Maduro. Served as director of military intelligence, deputy in National Assembly. Today, I sit in American prison because I voluntarily plead guilty to the crimes charged against me. Narco-terrorism conspiracy. Smartmatic was born as an electoral tool of the Venezuelan regime. I placed the head of IT in his position and he directly reported to me. Smartmatic system can be altered. It's a fact. Technology later exported abroad to the U.S. I absolutely support Trump's policy towards Venezuela because it's self-defense. He's acting based on the truth. Here are the official documents of his written testimony. I say, guys, that's a big freaking deal. Is Dominion out of Venezuela also? I think so. I really do. I think they are. More. Greta Van Susteren, well-respected journalist, used to have a show on Fox. Maybe now the horrible human trafficking from Venezuela to Aruba will stop or a dent made in it. Aruba is a transit point for Venezuela human trafficking to the EU. The deep state globalists, friends. City of London. And a drug smuggling transit point. Maybe Americans will now go to U.S. Virgin Islands or Florida or Hawaii. Yeah. Human trafficking hub, Venezuela. I don't know how many other people have dared to read some of the stories of how disgusting life got in Venezuela under Chavez and Maduro. It is some of the most heartbreaking stuff you'll ever read. Many, many thousands of women and children put into trafficking because without that, there was no other way to feed their families because they were starving. These people, Chavez, Maduro, the narco-terrorist cartels who run Venezuela, are evil. Evil, capital E. These are the worst of the worst people. And it is disgusting. And you know that one of the main industries of how these people make their money is human trafficking. And Trump just put that out as well, because there's no way he's going to let that happen. In fact, he threw it out to the current leader there, which, by the way, they have already appointed a new leader in this transition period. So it's not like Rubio's down there, although from afar he probably is. But he told him, you do what we say or what we will do to you is worse than what we did to Maduro. Trump's words today. So they ain't screwing around with this. We are cutting off the oil. We are getting the election rigging ripped out. We are stopping the human trafficking. And we are changing the world by literally taking away one of the deep state's largest assets. We literally just ripped it away from them. This is so huge. I was shocked when I woke up yesterday morning, and saw what we'd done. I was shocked, but in a good way, because I trust my president. And I cannot tell you, I've listened to a ton of smart people breaking this down. I've done the research on this in the last day, and there's going to be a lot more coming out, trust me. But in the last 24 hours, as I have looked into this, I get more and more excited every minute, every story I read, because what happened yesterday, what we just did in Venezuela, is becoming more and more obviously one of the largest blows we have ever struck against the deep state and globalists. Ever. It is massive. And it has so many effects that are going to come downstream from it, including more acceleration to our economy, which is going to be massive for the midterms. This is going to go down as one of the greatest things Trump has ever done. Despite all the questions right now, despite all the psyops right now, despite all the idiots out there saying, oh, Trump's just a warmonger, the Dave Smith morons, the libertarian idiots, the Thomas Massey puppets. I swear it becomes more and more obvious every day. Thomas Massey is just one of their puppets. He is disgusting. Rand Paul, disgusting. These people who say they're the real America First types are just revolting. And every time Trump does one of this, he exposes more and more and more of these fake influencers, these fake MAGA-tards. He exposes them more and more, and the people love it. The people love it. And Trump is showing all of us that it is so much crazier than any of us knew. And yet they are doing such a bigger, better job than most of us were giving them credit for at the same time. And I'm telling you right now, we found out this year, Candace Owens, total shill. We found out quite a few. Tucker Carlson just had Ian freaking Carroll on his show. And I have not gone to this place yet, guys, but I'm about there to say I think Tucker has lost it. He's either lost it or he's controlled opposition, because Ian Carroll is one of the worst of the worst. It is not hard to figure out. That dude is totally a Fed, and Tucker Carlson just put him on, gave him more influence. I'm sorry. I can forgive Rogan because Rogan's just a dude who finds people while he's flicking on the internet and invites them on. But Tucker Carlson's a journalist. He's supposed to know better. And so I'm telling you, more and more are being exposed. And I have a feeling this year we're going to get a bunch of people, or at least a few people, in the Steve Bannon thing. And listen, guys, I love a lot of these people. I've been following them for years. Bannon, Posobiec, Barris, you name them all. Like, this has been a crew that I have trusted. And maybe a lot of them are good. Maybe, but I'm telling you, I have a sense that we're going to get exposure on some more MAGA leaders that's going to be shocking this next year. It's getting crazy. It's getting crazy. And every time Trump does something like this, it rattles them. And they have to get louder and more obvious every single time because they're getting more and more desperate. The caged animals, the globalist deep staters are struggling, and they are panicking, and they are showing it in the war, the PSYOP information war happening online. Mike says, during the attack in Caracas, I thought I heard something about the mausoleum where Chavez was entombed been blown up. So much for the communist side. Yes. Apparently on the way out, we bombed Chavez's tomb. This is one big F you to communism on the way out. It's beautiful. Are you guys ready for this one? Epstein connections to Venezuela, but of course. No one's talking about the central connecting dot for Epstein, which is radical Marxism through the Robin Hood Foundation, Lynn Rothschild's Council for Inclusive Capitalism. Blah, 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 married, dating, and then a Venezuela connection. Maduro got bailed out by Goldman Sachs President Lloyd Blankfein, who is friends with Ghislaine Maxwell and Hillary Clinton. Oh my goodness, guys. It just keeps getting deeper. Pictured when he spoke at the World Economic Forum with Henry Kissinger. Lloyd got started the law firm. Silverstein and his insurance took out a month before 9/11. Remember the insurance for building number 7? Per usual with people deeply connected to Epstein, Lloyd hates Trump. Blackfein serves on the board of directors of the Partnership for New York City, on the board of overseers of Vale Cornell Medical College. Mentor of Jamie Dimon and CIA Bank Citigroup. Partnership for New York City, founded by none other than David Rockefeller. Can't make this up. Current CEO of Goldman Sachs, David Solomon, doubling down supporting Catherine Roemmler after it's found the most recent Epstein files drop. She was the person Epstein emailed the most. Yeah, Kathy Roemmler connected to Obama's lawyer. Yep. Crazy. Probably thinking this can't get crazier. What's the route cocaine was trafficked after Iran-Contra shut down the drug operations in Panama in 91, right when P. Diddy started with Carl Kanai? Coca was grown in Colombia, shipped to Venezuela, then Jamaica, then flown across Mexico border. Last part is the best. How the cocaine was paid for. Naked short selling. Are you guys having fun yet? Are you guys having freaking fun yet? I'm having fun. This is why Kathy Roemmler was key, because she's on the board of governors at FINRA, should prevent this sort of criminal activity. What stocks did they naked short? GameStop, DJT, MMTLP, BBBYQ, etc. Oh, Lordy. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? As it's unraveling. You guys ready to have some fun this year? Because I think I'm going to have a lot of fun this year. Anitech's going to run the IT in Venezuela. I love it. Robert, I have no idea why our finger went up. So, on Friday. Sorry, I can't tell you. Oh God, we got one of the people. No congressional. Let's see. Oh, I hear what you're saying. Oh, okay, let's talk about it. I saw your last comment first, and I was thinking you're shilling, but no, now I see your first comment. Absolutely right. No one complained when Obama was killing American citizens with drones, right? Now they're complaining about Trump taking out Maduro. Come on. Dumb. Nicolas Maduro himself disclosed 85% of the cartel's money is laundered through the U.S. banking system. Oh, yeah. Yeah, $500 billion annually. You guys been wanting market reform? Well, I hate to tell you. Actually, I love to tell you. This is a big part of that. Because the cartel's money, the cartel's getting taken down. Oh, boy. That's a lot of money. Imagine if 20%, because of Venezuela being gone. Let's be super conservative on this. Let's say 15%, although it's probably closer to 40 or 50, but let's say 15% of the $500 billion being laundered through Wall Street, propping up stocks, inflating our markets, being used by naked short sellers. If 15% of that 500 billion is gone, just like that, that's roughly around $75 billion they rely on, just gone from the system. You don't think that's going to have some effects? No, guys, get ready, as we are getting closer and closer to market reform. And I think it's going to happen through a crash of some sort. And I think it's coming sooner than later. I don't think it's going to last long. I think it's going to rebound quickly because what Trump's done with Main Street. But I think it has to happen to really reform the markets. And we just took a humongous chunk of that money out of there. We just got into the hub of most of this activity in the Western Hemisphere. We're going to get a lot of receipts. And just wait till Maduro goes on trial. Because, friends, I'm leaning more and more towards the theory that he was in on this and this was part of his deal to get out alive. That he made a plea deal and the Trump administration got him out and he's going to squeal like a pig. He's going to be like in The Dark Knight when the Joker looked at that guy and, I know a squealer. And that, my friends, is a squealer. He's going to squeal. Moody says, do I still think it'll be before the midterms? Yes, I believe it will be. In fact, I think it's going to happen Q1 and Q2. I think it's going to happen before the summer. So, Kat Singh says, Ed Martin's new post has many indictments coming for the midterms. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's the other thing. They've been talking. Pam Bondi posted the other day, unsealed indictment. Yeah, it's starting. It's starting. Meanwhile, look at even Alex, who's been very critical of the Trump administration lately. Listen, I have a feeling Alex got a phone call. Alex got a phone call from somebody. And I think Alex's phone call was something from the Trump administration that said, yo, Alex, whose side are you on here? Because you can't keep touting all this crap. You can't keep going out there saying you're going to dump Trump because MTG, I just got to talk to God about this and see if I can still support Trump after the way he turned on MTG. Because for the last few weeks, last 2 or 3 weeks, Alex has been very, very pro-Trump again. And Alex is now covering the Venezuelans celebrating around the world about their freedom and the freedom of their people. It's happening by the millions. Let's talk about it. It says, does he have kids, Maduro? I don't know. That's a great question. Mark R, they have 304 million barrels of oil. Yep, I know. The reserves are crazy, but they're not. I mean, well, I've already talked about it. You'll have to go back. Moody Waters, do you think Maduro or Trump will state he wanted U.S. to come get him out? No, I don't think so. I think they got to keep that there. I just think he'll name names. That's what's going to happen. Now let's talk about, we've already done this a little bit, but let's talk more about what this does with China. You guys realize the message Trump admin sent to China? We went from letting China float spy balloons over the U.S. mainland, thank you, Biden, to this. Under Maduro, Venezuela evolved from a failing petrostate into a permissive operating environment for foreign adversaries and transnational criminal networks. China took the most advantage out of the situation. There are over 600 ongoing bilateral agreements outlining energy infrastructure, trade, defense, and strategic partnerships between China and Venezuela. 600 bilateral. This was their best friend in the Western Hemisphere, guys. In fact, China sold and implemented the air defense system that failed to capture Maduro. Well, that's what you get when you get an air defense system made in China, bro. You just can't do that. Never by some important from China. A few hours before Delta Force landed, the high-level Chinese delegation was meeting with Maduro, discussed the multipolar world order amid U.S. pressure. Don't forget that early on, when Trump resumed office, Trump took back the Panama Canal by wresting it from Chinese control. Just a few weeks ago, Chinese monuments in Panama Park were bulldozed, triggering rage and condemnation from the CCP. Sorry, your communist hero statues are gone, my friends. I'm so sorry. Complete reassertion of American power in order to claim American dominance in the Western Hemisphere. Let's go back to this real quick. 600 bilateral agreements between energy, infrastructure, trade, defense, and strategic partnerships between China and Venezuela. I mean, does this story not just get better and better? Come on. Like, are you starting to see yet? Can you see? What we just did is massive. What the Trump administration just pulled off is insane. And the fact we got in and out of there in 90 minutes told the world, do you really want to F around with America right now? The Trump administration is putting it out there. No one is safe. I wrote a post the other day that said this is the most sovereign America has ever been as a single nation, sovereign nation, since World War II. Because since then, we've done the whole UN, United Nations BS. And it's been all like, let's keep pushing towards globalism. We're one with the world. We are the world. Nonsense. We are the U.S. We do what we want to do. You guys do you, as long as it doesn't mess with us. Trump is the first president to absolutely back this up. It is crazy. Loving it. Moody says, Iran's heating up, regime change incoming. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens in Iran, how Trump handles that. 770,000 Venezuela immigrants could become our supporters in next fall election. Well, yeah, what's the point on that? The Venezuelans are very Republican. Mark R., I'm not talking about that right now. The hurt is still too near. Libtards don't say taco anymore. Can we do Carney next? I know the Canadians are itching for it. I'm sorry. I don't see it happening, Moody, but you never know. I mean, Carney's got to, I think the thing is with you guys, as long as we just kind of don't get too engaged with you, you'll just destroy yourselves, unlike Venezuela, which kept pushing so much into our borders. But man, I do hope Canada gets liberated. I really do. I feel for you guys. Punched to the face of bricks. Look at this one. Praying Medic has some great insights right now. Short sellers are not safe, says Dave. Amen. Kim Wiley, what's going on? Welcome to you. Good to see you. Real reason the U.S. took control of Venezuela. By the way, guys, if you're enjoying this, if you are stoked about everything you learn about Venezuela and what we pulled off in this, hit that like, please. Hit that like. Subscribe. Share it with friends. If you have some friends or people you know who are like, I don't get why Trump went into Venezuela. This is Iraq all over again. Oh. If they are blackpilling or if they're just dumb, let them watch this video, because I'm hitting it from as many angles as I can. And I hope by the end of this video, I don't know how anybody could see this as a bad thing. Real reason U.S. took control of Venezuela. What justifies this from a Pentagon strategic perspective is a convergence of three existential threats from America's three primary adversaries. China embedded operational control into critical mineral extraction that feeds weapons manufacturing. Iran established drone production facilities within strike range of the continental U.S. They were letting Iran in Venezuela set up drone facilities that could hit Florida and probably Texas. How crazy is this? Venezuela was basically their setup shop place to launch war on us if they wanted to, or at least just to hurt us if they felt they needed to. The Venezuelans were just letting them in. This is such an ironclad case of why we did this, and just it's insane. Russia deployed military advisors and integrated air defense systems in the Caribbean. That goes all the way back to the Cold War. Venezuela represents the only location where all three adversaries operate simultaneously, and I'll add to that, and also the EU. Crazy. Oil is secondary, breaking Chinese supply chain dominance, eliminating Iranian manufacturing capability, and expelling Russian military presence are primary. Yeah, you see this? Breaking Chinese supply chain dominance. I think that's a big one with the minerals. Yeah, they just lost all that power over our trade, over our economy. China is reeling right now. Phil Zell says, can the federal government take over Minnesota and put Walz in prison? Well, I mean, they could. I think Walz literally has a target on his back right now. I think Walz is going to be taken down very soon. I really do. Frogirl, my man, it's getting wild. Iran's percolating. Colombia's been on notice. Don't even want to sleep. Can't miss whatever's next. I know, this is the best show on TV, isn't it? Mark Hart, on Friday, December jobs report expected to show a slowdown hiring. I'm not too worried about that, though. You know, a lot of that slowdown is because of the illegals. Moody says silver and gold are heading back up. Yeah, I mean, there's so much going on here. Let's just keep going. EU, this is in response to this. This is the kind of doomers that just drive us nuts. Shocked people can't see Trump's elections moving us closer to one world government. Praying Medic, you're not paying attention. The EU is the cradle of the one world government. Man, I just love that some people get it. and Medic's one of them. Putin, Xi, and Trump have been fighting the conglomerate since they came to power. Within that trio is a separate battle where China is weak in the U.S. and its allies. So Putin, Xi, and Trump are all fighting this one world globalist, but at the same time, China wants to fight us. An attempt to bring them under its control with Russia. EU has made itself powerless. China and the U.S. are the dominant powers locked in a bipolar struggle for the fate of the planet. And there it is. The globalists are falling apart. The EU is falling apart. And China saw an opportunity. And now Trump is not only putting the death knell on the globalist deep state, he's also blocking off China from ever having its power over us again. All at the same time. So, you guys, you getting stoked about 2026? That was a good start to the year. Great start to the year. Linda Telly, no notification. I'm sorry. I think a lot of people didn't get notifications because my live started really slow tonight, but it did pick up. Where's the president of Venezuela if USA is in charge? What are you asking, Michael Anthony? I don't understand what you're asking. He's in our federal prison right now. Minnesota's like its own country stealing from all of us. Well, Mark R, no. The problem is Minnesota is just the beginning. There are states far, far worse than Minnesota. California is going to be the biggest. Illinois will definitely be one as well. In fact, I think we all got Venezuela, right? Let's move on because there's other stuff to talk about that's just very exciting. It all ties together. But it just shows you how we're breaking this all down. But, I mean, I'd love to see U.S. get Cuba done as well, Mike. Absolutely. Look what Trump just posted. This is just way more than Minnesota. Trump dropped this chart showing immigrant welfare rates, and nearly 72% of Somali households are on welfare. Donald Trump posted this chart. And I know it's really small there, guys. You won't be able to see it, but you can go look it up on X. You can look on my X feed and zoom in on it. But basically, it's a breakdown of all the different races and how much of them in America are on welfare. And I'm telling you right now, it is way, way bigger than just Minnesota. So if you're seeing Minnesota right now and you're saying, "Oh my God, Minnesota, it's so terrible. It's awful. How could Minnesota do this?" No. It's all the blue states and some of the red. Although the red ones won't be as bad, it is some of them for sure. Some of the rhino parties are doing the same thing, just not as obvious and just a little bit less because they're a little bit smarter about it. And they also have some built-in boundaries because of the republicanism, but it's happening in the red states too. But the blue states, this is just the beginning of the exposure. It's going to be insane. Moody says, do you think Maduro will go to trial or will he plead out and name names? That's a good question. I think if he goes to trial, it'll be as a witness most likely. And he'll name names in that way. We'll see. They can't just pardon him. I will say that, unless it's just wild what we get out of them. But anyways, it's going to be interesting to see how this all goes. Brett says Newsom's sitting in his lazy boy chair, eating bonbons, smoking crack, and looking at Tim Waltz and thinking about what an amateur. I think you're right, Brett. If the fraud in Minnesota is like, what, 9 billion we've found so far, somewhere in that range, 14 billion, somewhere in that range. The fraud in California is going to be well over 100 billion. Well over 100 billion. Just wait. What's up, US1? How you doing? Let's talk about it. Says every state needs audited, independent base fee plus a percentage of fraud, prevent, recovery. Amen. Amen. Well, I think this is the beginning. Listen, do you know what a big deal it is that our president tweets this stuff out on Truth Social, just drops bombshells of stuff that people said were conspiracies for years, and Trump validates it? You know why he does that? He's not doing that to troll. He's doing it to tell those of us that have been saying this stuff, and everybody's like, you're crazy, you're crazy, you're crazy, you're a fool, you're a Trump, you're a Trump shill. You're blinded by Trump, blah, blah, blah. No, he does this to say, you guys are right. Keep going because it's coming. That's why Trump posts this stuff, so that people like me who actually go up and counteract what the biggest influencers are saying, and the media is telling us we're stupid and crazy and conspiracy theorists. Trump's saying, keep going. You're on the right track. And that's why he posts this stuff. It's more than trolling, guys. It's encouragement. And he's doing it without having to directly say that. It's messaging to all of us. Mark R says more like 1 trillion in California. I mean, it could be. It could be. I don't think it could be in a year, but just one state anyways. 80 billion on the railroad. I know, you're right. Absolutely. It is. All right. A couple of things before I finish tonight. Trump is just putting this out to so many places. I mean, this is Trump saying about Colombia.
Colombia is very sick too, run by a sick man who likes making cocaine and selling it to the United States, and he's not going to be doing it very long, let me tell you.
What does that mean? He's not going to be doing it very long.
He's not doing it very long. He has cocaine mills and cocaine factories. He's not going to be doing it very long.
So there will be an operation by the U.S. and
It sounds good to me.
Sounds good to me. That's Trump just being Trump. He's basically putting the media, the globalists, everybody on notice. Like, I will do what I want to do, what I think is best. So if the Colombian dictator is next, he's next. If he's not, he's not. But how many times has Trump been asked about this stuff? And he's like, why would I tell you that? That'd be stupid of me. I'm not going to tell you what I'm doing. So it doesn't mean he's going after Colombia next, but it could mean it. He's just going to knock them all out. Brett says California's debt, including the unfunded liabilities to state employees, is around 1.7 trillion right now. That's insane. They've been playing the fraud game for a lot longer than 16 years, Brett. It goes way further than that in California, but it really ramped up under Jerry Brown. You're right about that. US when he puts on Truth Social only, fake news has to show it. Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Did Newsom not veto an audit or some legislation passed in Cali? I don't know. That's a good question. I haven't been paying attention to Cali's politics as much lately. All right, you guys ready for this? This is awesome. So the U.S. Department of Labor just put this out. And I'm going to show you guys it, and then we'll talk about it. It's only 16 seconds. I want you to see it full screen, though, because this is just awesome. This is so good. All right. Remember who you are. That's actually extremely powerful. And this is the Trump administration coming into 2026, our 250th anniversary. The calling slogan, what they're calling out right now, is America, remember yourself. Who are we? And then it goes on to show the amazing monuments we've built, the cities, the skyscrapers, the building, the labor, the American worker, the greatest in the world, Teddy leading the charge. It's incredible. And it's just a very simple video. But remember who you are. Everything they do is so calculated. And this Venezuelan strike is just a part of this. Remember who we are. We're America. And we are going to be proud of who we are again. We are going to build again. We're going to be wealthy again. We are going to be America again. Remember. I'm getting chills just thinking about it. I mean, this is such good stuff. Hit that like if you want to remember who we are. Listen, 2025, all the people who were blackpilling the last few months, all the psyops trying to tell us that Trump wasn't getting anything done, that he was a failure, that we're going to lose the midterms. He's failing the people. Psyop after psyop after psyop. Why? Because 2025 may have been one of the most important years in American history, because it was a year we took it back and a new foundation was laid. The reason 2025 towards the end might have seemed slow is because the hard part, laying the foundation, isn't fun. Nobody wants to lay a foundation. It's boring. It's hard work. It sucks. You're dealing with concrete and it's got to be perfect because the foundation is the most important part. So things slow down when you're doing the foundation if you're going to do it right. But that's what's happening, guys. 2026. It's been 4 days of 2026. 4 days. And already, 4 days, Trump has reestablished Western Hemisphere dominance by kicking out the Chinese, Iran, Russia, and the deep state from the Western Hemisphere by taking over Venezuela. We just took out their biggest hub. And then on day 4, they post this to tell us, actually, this is day 2. This is 2 days old. Day 2, they post this to tell us it's time to build again. We're back. Are you guys ready? This is a call out. And they've been doing a lot of these call outs. Here's Elon Musk. Hey, guess who he's best friends with again? Dinner with Trump. Little kayfabe last year, anybody, when they fought? My God. They are playing. Everybody is willing to fall for it. They're playing them like fiddles. They are nonstop keeping stuff out over and over and over again to just keep everybody on their toes. The only way to navigate these times is to trust Trump. And I know some people don't want to hear that. Some people are like, I don't want to trust anybody. They're so black-pilled. But that's the only way. Because guess what, guys? If you trust Trump, you know why I sit so confident all the time in doing this show? Why I'm just relaxing, having a good time, why I'm able to make predictions that come true? Because I just know who to trust. It's that simple. I know the man. I voted for him. I trust him. I followed him. I understand what he's doing to the best of my ability. Obviously, there's a lot I don't know behind the scenes. But it's that simple. Trust Trump, you win. Trust Trump, you win. That's what's happening. David says the administration is also focused on building patriotism. 100%. And they do have great documentaries on the White House YouTube. Absolutely. David says Trump wanted to do the operation on Christmas Day. The weather was bad. He picked that day for the name for. Well, you know what? Are you talking about the Maduro? He also picked the 3rd because the same day oh man, what's his face from Panama in 91. There's a lot of historical relevance on that day. It's also the same day he took out Soleimani. January 3rd. That was 2017, 2018. Took out Soleimani. Anyways, Trump likes January 3rd. He really does. You guys ready for the future? Matt Gaetz, in response to Marco Rubio jumping up in his presidential odds, J.D. Vance 30%, Gaetz just let the cat out of the bag. The deal is already done. Marco Rubio is running with Vance. I mean, we all knew it, but it sure feels good to have somebody in the know telling us it's definitely happening. Are you guys ready for the winning for another decade? We get 3 more years of this with Trump, and the winning is just starting. 3 more years. And what did I tell you guys before Trump came in? What I believed was going to happen. Trump was going to come in 2024. He was going to break the deep state, reestablish America, get the corruption, clear out the corruption, rebuild the foundation of the economy, and then J.D. Vance was going to take us into the next era, rebuild the country. What are we seeing so far? Corruption being exposed, new economic foundations, global dominance, well, actually, I should say sovereign dominance, Western Hemisphere dominance being reestablished, deep state flying and just freaking out, and Vance and Rubio are up next. That's an unbeatable ticket. Unbeatable. They're going to have to kill him to stop him. They won't succeed because we patriots are going to keep praying, exposing, and showing up and doing every little thing we can. That's how we win. We can't do the big stuff, but we can put the people in place that do, and we can support them every day and every little bit. And we are going to win for the next decade plus. And it's going to be glorious. Guys, we are just at the beginning of the turning. It is going to be exciting. Are you amped yet? We're coming out of the fog of the holidays, the fog of the psyops that started with the government shutdown, and everything's starting to get a little clearer, isn't it? Everything's getting a little clearer. And as if on cue, you see what I did there? As if on cue. Look what else the Department of Labor just posted today. Patriots are in control. Are you kidding me? Are we having fun yet, folks? Are you kidding me? Those who know, if you know, you know. This is a freaking bat signal to everybody paying attention. Patriots are in control, guys. I'm so freaking amped. I am so freaking amped. Marco says, don't get the left any ideas. Trust me, that wasn't my idea. They already have that idea. They're disgusting. Oh, man. So good. So exciting. And listen, we got a big year ahead of us. There's going to be psyop after psyop. They're going to try to destroy the economy. They are going to try. But with what we just pulled off in Venezuela and with what Trump's already passed, I mean, good freaking luck. But they're going to try. They're going to throw everything at us. And we're going to have bad days. We're going to have scary days. We're going to have stuff that happens. But guess what, guys? We just got the bad signal. Venezuela. This is posted the day after Venezuela. Remember who you are. The administration's telling us this is headed in the right direction, guys. Get ready. Be ready. Be excited. Patriots are in control. Freaking believable. And then just to add to it all, the White House posting the FAFO with Trump just looking straight baller. Whew. I don't know about you guys, but I am amped. I'm freaking amped. This is the best New Year's gift we could have gotten. So again, if you learned something tonight, if you're amped, hit that like, hit that subscribe, repost if you're on X, please. Tell a friend who's black pilling to watch this. Venezuela is huge. It's huge. And the White House is letting us know that we are winning more than we even know. And we're going to start seeing more and more of that this year. 2026, the 250th year of our great republic, the greatest nation in world history, is going to be a banger. Are you guys ready for it? Because I am. It's going to get fun. It's going to get real fun. So, all right. Love you guys. Hey, let's do this. Let's end in a prayer. Before you leave, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Thank you so much. If you want to join the channel, if you want to support what I do, it takes a lot of work to make this channel happen. If you want to support what I do, please hit the link in the description towards the bottom to take you to my Patreon. You get a free month for members only lives. I'm going to be doing some classes soon, and also get full-time into the Patreon. So if you don't mind supporting the channel, or at least checking it out to see if you want to, get that free month. And then you can decide if you want to stick around or not. So I appreciate all my supporters, all my members. Members Live will be this week. We're back on now. It's the first, now that we're back into the swing of the new year. So I'm excited, guys. This is going to be a great year. So let's end in a prayer. Mike with the $2 says, keep your eyes on Jesus. Amen, brother. So let's pray. We always need prayer. That's what's going to keep us winning no matter what happens. So no games, FAFO. Love it. All right. So Heavenly Father, thank you for today. Thank you so much, God, that we have just leadership that knows what they're doing, is actually fighting for the people and just bringing us win after win after win. Thank you for that. Bless them. Bless President Trump. Keep him safe, Lord. Keep his team safe. Keep Vance and Rubio safe, Lord. Protect all of them, Lord. In Jesus' name we ask. And God, give them wisdom and boldness to continue what they're doing. Thank you, Lord, for saving our nation. Thank you for doing far more than we could ask or believe for, God. And just thank you for always doing it the right way, even when we don't understand in the moment. We love you and we appreciate that. And Lord, I just pray for justice and prosperity, God, to come throughout our nation. And bless our nation, Lord. Let us be then a blessing to others after we've been fixed. And God, help us just all, Lord. Just bless everybody in this chat, everybody watching, God, with whatever they need. Just be with them. And God, just thank you. Thank you for that we even have this chance. It's all because of you. And you gave us a man on a mission. And we thank you for him in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, guys. Love you so much. Hey, another thing, if you're thinking about it or if you watch, hey, pray for Scott Adams. I don't know if many of you know who he is, but I definitely do. Major important person. I think he's only got a few days left of life. That's going to be a tough one for me, as he's been like a mentor for me from afar. His books have absolutely changed my life. This book especially. If you haven't read this book, this is one of the most important books I believe ever written for people who just want to do better for themselves. But pray for him. He's at the end of his life. It's not looking good. So, anyways, I love you guys. Brett, you sent me a clip. Which clip was it, brother? You got to remind me of these things. I get sent so much stuff. I'm trying to remember which one was from you. Did you send it in a DM or on the, let's see. Oh, yeah. I remember what you sent me. Yes. Yeah, no, that was great stuff. The SNL stuff. Yeah. Excellent. I'd play it, but last time I played SNL, they busted me. So I don't want to do that again. So anyways, but, oh yeah, pray for Thomas Dubois. We haven't heard from him in a while. So, Roberts asks, what is Scott Adams dying from? Prostate cancer. Yeah, he's got it bad. So, anyways, all right. Yeah, Larry David. Yeah, exactly. It was good stuff, man. All right. Love you guys. Have a great night. Thank you for the donations, Mike. And bless you all, especially the supporters. And guys, plan on being on tomorrow. So look for me then. God bless you. Have a great night. Bye.